Call a meeting to order. According to the Open Public Meeting Act. Tara, would you take roll, please?
Sure. Bob Puskis,
Here.
Arnie Schmidt,
Here.
Bill Connell. I see him. Bob LaCourte,
Here.
Chris Williams,
Here.
John Hurling,
Here.
Melba Batten. I see her. I don't hear her, but I see you, Melba. Councilman Chase. I see him too. All right, Bob Vornlocker,
Here.
Michael Smith. I think he's muted, but I see him. Mayor Kramer,
Yeah, I'm here.
and then we have Dave Triggs on the line.
Here.
All right, that's it.
All right, very good, thank you. Next order of business is open meeting to the public. Tara, is anybody from the public there online?
There is, yes, there is.
Okay, motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion. Second.
A second.
Okay,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, meeting is now open to the public.
okay, so we have Charles Martin. Hold on one second. Hi, Chuck, how are you?
Hi, Tara. I'm fine. I have nothing to say. One reason is I don't have an agenda. Could I get an agenda for the meeting, please? Once
yeah.
again, it's not posted on the meeting site.
It should be posted. It was before, that's for sure.
I've been looking at it all day long.
Okay, hold on. I'll send it to you. Hang on. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. That's
That's it? Okay, hang on.
yeah, that's, I have nothing to say because I can't read the agenda.
All right. Okay.
Anybody else, Tara?
We have Bill Bowman is here. Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing? Nope,
Thank
I have
you.
nothing other than please post the agenda, a link to the agenda on the same page that the link to the meeting is, because that's where it says residents have X number of hours. I forget what it is, 72, whatever, to comment on the agenda, but you can't, like, as I said before, for you guys and other boards, you can't comment on something you can't see. Other than that, I'm
Okay.
good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, that's all the public.
Motion to close the public session.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Somebody? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, very good. Moving on. Old business. First item is the green infrastructure feasibility study. Terry, lead us on that.
Yes, so I just received the green infrastructure it's called the Green Infrastructure Strategic Plan is the last document in the suite of documents. So I just received that last week. I've been going through it. The final document, which is called the Green Infrastructure Strategic Plan, really builds on the other two documents by looking at the impervious cover that we have, the runoff volume that comes off of it, and then projects identified based on how much runoff volume they can stop from running off, the size of those projects, the costs of them, and then it further looks at the removal of total suspended solids, total phosphorus, total nitrate. So there's a variety of ways we can look to see which projects we want to implement, but what I started doing was putting together a spreadsheet of all these different numbers to try and really see what the best projects to choose are, because we have a little bit of money left in the grant to do a demonstration project.
Okay.
So what I think is, we were going to talk about it last night at the Environmental Commission meeting, and we didn't get a chance to do it. I think it would be good, since I just got the document and since I haven't had a chance to really filter the numbers as best as I would like to. At the next meeting, maybe we could choose 3 projects that we kind of like to maybe see move forward, and then I can also discuss it with Environmental Commission and we can make a recommendation maybe to move forward. But the good thing is, once we have these 3 recommended projects, we can give them to Rutgers, and Rutgers will actually draw up the design specs and the construction bid to really, you know, for us to get a good idea about exactly what that one project will entail. And we need to kind of look at it through a bunch of different filters. Are we looking at it just on cost? Are we looking at it on, you know, the reduction of volume in gallons? Are we looking at it based on education value? You know, so these are all things that we should look at. But just want to let you know that part is done. I'm going through it. I have all the numbers in one spreadsheet now, but I just want to like kind of analyze it a little bit more.
All right, great.
Tara,
Mhm.
this is Billy.
Hi.
Is there a couple examples of stuff, like when you're talking about this, that are on the short list that might explain what show what you're trying to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you. I'll show it to you what I have right now. How about that? And let me get it. Give me 1 second to just get it here.
And these are not the actual choices. These are just examples, correct?
Well, no, there's 17 choices to choose from. And again, they kind of give us the rough data, and then we have to choose what we want. So in order to filter it, it's, you know, we got to kind of decide what we want to do. So can everyone see my screen?
Yeah. Whoa.
Yes.
So out of the plan, I put together this spreadsheet. So the first page you're looking at, these are the 17 projects. The green lines in between just separate them by location. So there's these 17 locations. Some of them are schools, some of them are hospital or care places, some are municipal buildings, we have fire companies. So the Rutgers really tries to do a variety of different uses and different sizes, and then kind of estimating what the cost would be and the size of it. So there's some that are very costly and there are some that are not costly at all. So the points that I decided to look at to start off from their data, like what I've kind of deduced it down to, is the existing impervious cover and how much existing runoff that produces in the New Jersey water quality storm, which is 2 inches of rain, 1.25 inches of rain over 2 hours. And then the annual storm, which is 44 inches. And then I looked at the proposed strategy and what's the reduction potential there in looking at stormwater, TSS removal, and the size and the cost of the project. So we have all these numbers here. I started going through it and looking at, you know, what's the largest amount of impervious cover? What's the lowest amount of impervious cover? Then I did a separate sheet for runoff volume, potential runoff reduction, cost per individual project, and cost by location. So, for example, we can look at what we have right here. So in yellow is the highest. So right now, the project that they're recommending with the highest % of impervious cover right now is at the Franklin DPW. The one with the highest impervious cover in square feet is at Franklin Middle School and Hillcrest Middle School. And then I also just looked at the lowest. So the lowest in % is at Franklin Park School, and the lowest in square footage is Franklin Park Volunteer Company. But then if we want to look at something completely different, like, okay, maybe we want to choose a project based on how much runoff reduction what's the most amount of runoff reduction we're going to get if we don't look at anything else except for runoff reduction. And the answer would be at Mount Carmel Church by putting pervious pavement in. That would reduce the runoff by 575,750 gallons. The lowest would be at the Franklin Park Volunteer Fire Company, which will reduce it by 1,800 gallons. That one's kind of interesting because that's a rain harvesting system. So it's really like a large cistern that only has a maximum capability of holding 1,800 gallons. And then if we look at location costs, for example, the cheapest the least expensive, I should say, project to put in would be at Eternal Life Christian Church. It's a rain garden. It would be an 1,100 square foot rain garden. Approximately would cost a total of $5,650. And then you have the highest one, which would be at Franklin Park School. And this is because the proposal there is pervious pavement and a rain garden. It's a very large area. The pervious pavement alone is almost, it's around 900,000. So in putting together these spreadsheets, I kind of just picked out the top 5 or top 1 or 2, depending on what criteria we're looking at. And I thought we could use this data to kind of come up with, a few projects that we maybe could use as a demonstration project.
Okay, thank you. That clears it up.
Yeah, I know. I hate, not that I shouldn't say I hate, I always worry about showing that when I make these spreadsheets, because I know they look crazy maybe sometimes, but it's like, it gets me from basically A to B, so.
You're speaking my language.
So I'm happy to look at these all with you tonight if you feel comfortable, unless you prefer for me to really dive into it a little more and make some charts and look at what the biggest runoff reduction we're going to get for our cost. I haven't gotten down to that level of data yet.
I mean, I think you should just keep doing it and come back to the next meeting, in my opinion. Keep working. I just want to know what your starting point was.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so what I'll do for the next meeting is I will take all these numbers and I'll get a final, a top list of 5 projects that'll show basically the biggest impact we're gonna get for the lowest cost. That's what I would like to get down to.
Mhm.
Okay,
Makes
great.
sense.
Tara, I'm sorry, and I apologize to everybody that I lost audio for a couple of minutes. My headset failed me, so I didn't hear the opening of your discussion on this. And I'm wondering, I'm assuming you're talking about using open space money for these projects. And
you wouldn't be able to use open space money. That wouldn't be an approved expense unless it was on open space property.
okay, thank you, Bob. That's what had me confused. I thought that's what was being talked about, that we were going to be using open space money for this, and I didn't see where that fit in. Okay.
No, just presenting the final piece of this grant, and there is a little bit of money left in the grant. I think around $3,500 or $3,000 to maybe do a small rain garden or do a start of a different project if we want. But this is the last element of this grant in terms of all of the compiling of all the data. So now we can use it to do something if so we so choose.
Well, in that case, I agree with what John, Dave, and Bill said. To
You agree with me, Arnie?
Pardon me, Bill?
You agree with me?
Put that in the minutes, Bill.
All right, great. So I'll continue to work on that, and I've only had it for a few days, but it does look really good, I have to say.
Tara, when you list 2 projects at a given site, say a bioretention basin and pervious pavement, do both of them have to be done, or are they really independent of each other?
They're independent of each other. There's one that I noticed that the proposal is that the pervious pavement would be graded down into a larger bioretention basin, but that doesn't have to be. And the other projects are completely independent.
No. We could get a lot of bioretention basements for $1.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we could divide gallons by dollars and get a number of some sort that might help decide.
Right. Yep.
All right, moving on. So you're gonna work on that and come up with a recommendation for a demo site at the same time, Taylor?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, moving on. You have in there about the prescribed burns for 2021 at the grasslands.
The only thing I just wanted to update was that I did submit the applications. I put them together, submitted them to Bob Hornlocker, and he, looked at them, approved them, and we submitted them. So the burn is proposed for the same burning the same fields at John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve as last year. And then we did put an application for Negri Napodi as well for this year. And so those have been submitted to the New Jersey Fire Safety Service. I did try and follow up with George Effinger. He's our representative, but I got an automatic reply that he's been deployed to help with the wildfires. So I don't know when he'll be back, but he will be back, soon. So kind of just waiting on that.
Tara, this is Melba Batten.
Hi, Melba.
Am I on?
You're on.
Can't see you, but we can hear you. You're just
Uh,
off your screen.
I'm off the screen. Well, that's okay.
I think it's shooting above your head.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks, especially from you, Ted.
Oh.
What I was wondering was, there was some burning proposed for Negri Napodi for 22 in the winter. Is that going on?
Yeah, so it's proposed. It has not been approved yet, but it's proposed based on the grasslands management plan that was put together by New Jersey Audubon for where the burn field should
Okay.
be. So we're going on that, and I can show you the screen if you'd like. Hold on. Where's my map? Here we go. Oh, got it there. So these are the fields that are proposed for Negri Napodi for burning. So it's field E, which is up there. You'll see on your screen, it's about 40.77 acres. And then the lower field is field B, and that's 26.29 acres. So those are the fields that were proposed for burning from New Jersey Audubon based on their value of treating invasive species and also meeting the criteria for burning, which is, you have to be, I believe it's 400 or 400, I forget how many feet away it is, but they believe from their cursory review that would meet the criteria. So we submit this plan to the fire service, and they might make amendments or changes to the boundaries based on their criteria.
All right. Any more questions about the burn for Tara? If not, we'll move on to the Firefly Walk.
Oh, so just an update, the Firefly Walk was successfully held on July 10th. The Trails Committee collaborated with Recreation again. And as usual, Bo and his staff were excellent. There was 26 people that attended. And it's been a really good collaboration with them, between Trails and them. We've been getting a lot more people to the Trails walks and having some interesting aspects added to them. So I think it was overall really good. Everyone was happy with it.
Good. Nice pictures of it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was good. So
We had good turnout for both bird walks also.
yes,
great.
that's
Nice.
true. Yep.
Nice. All right, moving on. Hunting program.
Again, just an update on the hunting program. The applications went live on July 13th. We've had people submitting them electronically, which has been working out well. We will send a paper application, of course, if someone requests one. So those applications are open until August 10th. And then we will start working on the permits. The first day of hunting season is September 11th.
All right, great.
When considering what properties people get, can we take into consideration veterans get preference?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole thing you said.
No, when considering what stands or what properties are submitted to certain people, I know township residents get priority, and I think veterans should also get priority.
So we give priority, yes, to Franklin Township residents, but we also have, so hunters that had hunted in the previous year and submit their summary documents on time also get preference for their area, as long as they submit their hunter summary report on time.
So we don't give any consideration to our veterans.
I don't know that I want to say we don't give any Bob, we don't give any either, Bob. We don't give any, there's no form that says, you know, I'm a veteran, so you get a preference.
Right, we have a lot of veterans
Turn
too.
front up.
We do have a lot of veterans already involved in the program. They just apply, you know, but no, to say, you know, no, they don't get Franklin residents first, and then again, the preference is hunters in the past. Like Tara said, that complete the paperwork. They get their permit for the same area they had the year before, and then if there's any openings in those whatever area it is, those folks will those permits will be given to Franklin Township residents. Then we work our way out from there. But usually we don't have to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, can I ask you a question, Tara, as well? In reference
Yes.
to, have we turned away any hunters because there were no permits available?
Never.
I didn't think so. Okay, thank you.
Right. There's always permits available. Usually in the past, John Clyde has always had permits open down there, and plus this year we're gonna have the new ground we added into it, so there'll be openings there. So we should be good.
Yep.
For the new area, is there parking available?
So there's a lane that goes into the new area, and we're working with DPW to have that shrubbery kind of cut back and maybe like a little inward spot where cars can park. There's only going to be 8 permits available at that site. So there will be a little parking area for them, not a super improved parking lot, but somewhere where they can definitely park.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. I want to add something to the old business that we've talked about in the past, and requested some information from Public Works. And because I'll say pandemic, we never really got the information because this was talked about in 19. And talking to a few of the members that I bumped into, the question is about the Open Space Committee, or the Open Space Trust Fund, I should say. Pays for 2 employees to work on the open spaces in Franklin. But there's a question of how much time do those employees actually spend on our grasslands? And if there's, you know, for our next meeting or whatever, we'd like, you know, there's been a question of, you know, can we see some data on that? So you know, somebody, Tara or Bob would have to reach out to.
Bob, you broke up midway through. There are 2 full-time employees that are charged to the Open Space Trust, and they work 12 months. They're charged due to the fact that there's 12 months of the year that certainly employees from the Public Works Department work in our parks and open space properties. But the remainder of the park maintenance department are charged to the trust for 10 months out of the year.
Right, but can we get a number of hours or days, or however you want to break it down, that is actually spent on open space property?
So during that 10-month period, those employees are assigned full-time to the parks. I mean, I can certainly try to pay payroll. I'm down 2 people in the finance department due to surgeries, so I'm not going to tell you that I'll have it for next meeting because they're anticipated to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And so I'm relying on 2 employees to cover the job of 4. But what I will tell you is that it's in my estimation, you have more than those employees working in the parks on a regular basis from the months of, say, March, April through the end of October. Right now, the Parks Department probably is in need of employees, let alone not working those hours that they're being paid for out of the trust.
Yeah, no, I understand they're working in the parks, but there's the question being asked is how much time do they spend in the grasslands, or the trails and the grasslands?
But what I'm saying to you is that all of those are considered open space properties. All of them are on the Roxy, and that's part of their job. The amount of time. I can't say that we document time down to the minute for what you're looking for.
Right, it doesn't have to be down to the minute, just a rough estimate, and if it takes 2 months to get the information, that's no problem. I understand shortages of help. Trust me, it's a widespread phenomenon. But if we could get any kind of data, because like I say, conversations with, bumping into people with delis and stuff like that, and getting conversations about the conditions of the grasslands and stuff. It's just an idea, just some rough idea of what's happening. If it takes 6 months to get it, it takes 6 months to get the information. There's no hurry.
Yes, Mayor.
Jim Johnson asked some of this stuff. Did you commit anything to writing with that or no?
Well, there's the report that I gave you.
So you could send that report to Mr. Puskis.
That's fine.
While you work on, that might satisfy his question.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. Moving on, new business, skate park.
Tara, I need to be able to share my screen.
Oh, sure. Yep. On here.
So while she's getting ready for me to share the screen, if any of you have been in Middlebush Park over the last couple months, you'll have taken note of the fact that the skate park has been closed to use. It was deemed unsafe by the Joint Insurance Fund safety inspection. And the pavement and some of the, we'll call them ramps, have, so the pavement is in a state that it would need to be completely torn out and replaced. And some of the ramps, which I guess are about 15 or 16 years old now, are also reaching the point where it's difficult to repair. There had been a discussion in several of the council committees about replacing the skate park. And I think the mayor had some conversations with some people who were representative of the young group that utilizes that facility. And apparently there's quite a few, because even though we've closed off the gates, they continue to try to get in. And that'll bring me to another part, which is after this meeting, that I believe it'll take place tomorrow. The remaining equipment in the fence and pavement are going to be removed by the Public Works Department so that we can avoid any additional, we'll say, break-ins, if you want to call climbing over the fence and going in a break-in. But the Public Works Department has put together.
You cut out.
Bob, you want to unmute?
I got it. I hit the button. That's all. A vendor who is under a cooperative purchasing agreement with the township and others. Actually, this is a national cooperative. Put together a proposal that will be going to council for approval. I wanted to share it here, so I'll bring it up and go through it with you. And this would be a full replacement of the skate park, pavement, fencing, and all of the stunt ramps inside. However, instead of the composite material that was used years ago, these would be concrete ramps with footings, so that their longevity would be far beyond what was put in there originally, and also would create a type of system that would be less prone to needing repairs. So
what's the price tag on that?
Well, let me go through the process and you'll see it, because it's one page in the presentation. All right, so this is what the proposal would look like. You can kind of get an idea of the ramp structures and things. Just a different angle and a top view. Kind of from the side. This actually provides a little bit more within the same footprint of the current skate park. Top view.
Couldn't you run a ramp from the bleachers on the football field all the way into the park? Wouldn't that be cool?
That's called Great Adventure.
So the proposed cost is $308,589.15 under the cooperative purchasing. When I first heard that number, it kind of put me back in my seat a little bit until I started to put things in perspective. The playground equipment at Inman Park was about $250,000. This is a full structure, concrete construction, pavement with a sub-base course, so that unfortunately the one that was put there was just a 2-inch top course with no base, new fencing, and considerably much more longevity anticipated because of the building materials than the existing one. So that's the cost, Dave, to answer your question. That's the situation we're in.
Any idea what the
I'm in that park almost every day, and when before they closed off the skate park, and part of it, yes, it was damaged. Part of it was graffitied. I always felt that it was underutilized, almost like an eyesore, to be honest with you. But to spend that kind of money on something that's seldom used and quite frankly is a liability in terms of people getting hurt. I don't know. We're talking
So
about
I'll answer your liability question first, and your liability question is that, but based on my research and my recollection, there's been no actions brought against the township for an injury at the skate park since it was built.
That's great.
So there's a requirement to wear safety equipment. I can tell you, and Mayor, if you would please chime in here, the question about usage is one that's a difficult one to gauge. But what I can tell you is that there's been outreach from the public based on its closure. Several council members have been approached by members of the public about their children missing the ability to use that skate park. And that's about all I can say, other than what the mayor might say about what they told him.
I mean, let's face it, it was in pretty bad shape. No one wanted to use a new skate park. I think would be used more often. A lot of our parks don't get full utilization.
So I had people calling me or emailing me about it. I don't remember how they got in touch with me. I did ask one person who I know uses it, often tells me if there's damage, and she was under the impression that it was quite frequently used.
Mayor, can you speak a little louder, please?
So the one person I spoke to directly about it in question said that when she brought her son there was always other people there, and other people came after they were there. Could you hear me?
Yes, heard you.
Yes.
So since we're getting these mixed messages as to how much it's used, and it sounds like the more messages are that it's used quite frequently, has there been any kind of communication with any of people, basically kids, I guess, asking for any input from them for design input as to what it is that they would enjoy using?
Bo?
Sorry, there you go.
All right,
So I have actually. So as we were going out and we had to shut it down, I made it a point to talk to the kids who I was asking to leave the skate park what they would want, and this kind of system is exactly what they were talking about. And if you look at it, you'd have to go back and look at the pictures. There's a lot of stuff for grinding, those kinds of things, as opposed to ramps, is what I got. The other thing is, if you look at the others, there's a couple of other systems that Spone Ranch has done throughout the state. Some in Long Branch. I think there's one. I think they did the one in Princeton. Very, very similar and very, very heavily used.
Well, I think that's great, Bo, that you spoke to them and got some input from them.
Yeah, I mean, I figured my point was thinking was if I've got to ask them to leave, I might as well get their input on what they want if we're able to do something to fix it.
Well, and hopefully you can deliver, or we can deliver something that they enjoy using.
Yeah, you'll see all the stuff at the top of the rails up there. They have the slide bars. Those are the kinds of things that they talked about wanting.
Can I put, I like to say a couple things. I still would like to see myself a spray park rather than the skateboard park, only because of the problems in Colonial Park. 3 years, very seldom used. I would have liked to have seen maybe a questionnaire go out to the residents around that area. Do you prefer a skateboard park or do you prefer a spray park? And see how many residents would like either one of the two. All right, because if you're going to spend $300,000 for a skateboard park and you have 100 kids, but then in the summertime you have maybe 500 people using the spray park, you know, you gotta see which way it goes. People are complaining that I'm hearing that the spray park in Colonial Park is not being used. Second thing is that the county has grants, and if the town puts in a grant for if we go ahead with the skateboard park, it could have came out of the county open space. We would not have to have paid anything, provided that.
Let me interrupt you, Bob. We did put in a grant application for the county open space. It's currently in the county. It was prepared for an ask of $1 million for Catalpa Park. So we did.
No, Bob, believe me, I know about that, okay? But it's got to be specific for something.
And that's why they asked us to provide additional detail, and that additional detail is being provided.
Okay, well, I have my contacts too,
So
Robert.
that's what I know.
Okay, so, could you scale back Catalpa Park if it's not shovel ready for 2 years and then reapply for that grant? If this skateboard park is
It
going,
is shovel ready, and the spray park wouldn't be shovel ready for quite some time. And this skate park is shovel ready because the footprint is already there. But Catalpa Park is shovel ready as far as engineering and the design is concerned. Blame the State Historic Preservation Office for not getting the information to NJDEP in a timely fashion, and that's why the check mark can't go on the DEP permit, and the DEP permit can't be issued.
all right, so Bob, could that application, if you think, even though it's shovel ready, and let's say that you don't think the shovel-ready project for Catalpa is going to be maybe a year or 2 or 3 years down the road.
No, I believe it's going to be the spring of 2022.
Okay, so what you understand what I'm saying about?
And this skate park, when we made application for the Catalpa Park to the county, this skate park was still open and was not deemed unsafe by the JIF. So we weren't looking at replacing it at that time.
So my question would be, could you pull the $1 million application and then put the application in for the skateboard park?
Well, I mean, alternative. I think it's called 6 in 1, half dozen of the other. If you make an application for one park out of open space or make an application for another park out of open space, it's all supplementing the same pot. So it really doesn't matter.
Well, but again, too, if Catalpa Park is, even though it may be shovel ready in the spring, I don't know when it's going to be done. I don't know whether that $1 million is going to be just given to you because it's got to be, are you telling me that specific things were changed in Catalpa?
Oh, was there communication with the county regarding the grant application to county open space?
Yes.
I said Bo, with regard to the open space from the county.
Yeah, I mean, the information that was going back and forth between CME and asking for additional information for Catalpa, yes.
Okay. Well, those are my questions.
So I have a question.
And so what my question, Bob, about this, you mentioned the Colonial Park spray park and it's underutilization. It's not underutilization. It's failed mechanically miserably, and that's why it's not open.
No. I never said it was underutilized because I know that there's nothing but problems there. That's all.
You actually.
I guess my question would be, they're having significant problems with their large spray park, so we should build one?
No. I'm saying because I think the residents in the 4th and 5th Ward would utilize that more.
Well, there is one in the 4th Ward at Naaman Williams Park.
Okay. That's a tiny little thing.
But there is
Whatever.
a spray park there with the pool.
Okay.
And it is utilized.
Well, I'm just saying to have it, you know, we're promoting Middle Bush Park as the jewel of Somerset County with everything that we have there. So, you know, do you have 100 kids who use the skateboard park, or do you have maybe, you know, 100 to 200 kids during the summertime using it with parents, and then go from there?
And I would make the argument that the skate park would be utilized from March through November, and the spray park would be utilized in June and July and August.
I
And
agree.
really July and August, because they're in school in June.
So does it have to be an either or, a skate
Well, I
park?
think that in a previous meeting, Mr. LaCourte suggested that we replace the skate park with a spray park.
I
That's why it's
understand.
coming up now.
I understand, and I'm asking, does it have to be an either or? If we have the skate park, is it possible to have a small water park like we have at Naaman Williams? Say on the other side of the play park area for the little kids. It's, let's say, between that and the soccer fields. Is it possible to do a small spray park?
You'd have to look and see if there's the real estate for it. Don't forget, most of the backfields are the natural turf soccer fields. And then you have the softball field, you have the picnic pavilion, you have the exercise area, the tot lot, the skate park, and then the 2 synthetic turf fields, and then the natural play area between DeMont Lane and the parking lot. I'm not sure that there's enough real estate to put one in. There might be.
Well, I'm just asking if that's something that we can.
I don't know, Artie. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's enough room to put one in.
Or put a dog park in. If you go by that skate park on any given day, generally what you see are kids hanging out, just sitting on the platforms. They're not skating. Occasionally, parents will bring their kids with their bikes in there. You almost never see anybody wearing a helmet. I don't know what the safety protocol is, but nobody wears helmets in there, and it's a hangout. It's really not utilized as a skateboard. I almost never see skateboarders in there, and I'm in the park every day, every single day.
What is the age range for using a skate park?
I mean, there's people who are on skateboards that are in their 40s and 50s. It could be anything. Generally speaking, I would imagine that it's teenagers into their early 20s that would utilize a facility like that. That's, when you think of teenagers, that's
right. But as Bob said, you also don't want it to tend to being a hangout either.
But I would like to take the temperature of the committee to see if they'd like to at least have the township look into the possibility of a small water park somewhere, if there's room for one at Middle Bush Park. If anybody else agrees with the idea of just at least exploring that possibility.
Absolutely.
I'd be game.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have 2 spray parks.
Artie,
Make a motion.
can we just hold that off for a second? We've been talking, let's go back and finish this conversation on the skate park, and we can go into the water park issue. I would like the judge to get an idea of what the committees feel about spending the money for a skate park. Any comments? I kind of, if you can, I don't go there. I've been there a few times, never seen anybody use it, but I'm following Dave Triggs' lead on this, so.
I would be against it.
Bob, Vornlocker, how many square feet is that skate park?
You want me to bring up the thing and measure it, Arnie? I up the top. Let's see if it's on the thing here. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, it takes up a lot
I
of
mean,
space.
it's the size of 2 tennis courts, basically. So how big is that?
Okay, no, that gives me an idea. I like to measure things by football fields or tennis courts or something like that. Gives us an idea.
I mean, this is 34 feet here. This is another 6, and that's 13. Add up, that's 30, 40, 53 feet that way, and 90 feet and 112 feet on this one. So do that math real quick, Arnie.
I'm sorry, say that again. How much? 100?
It's on average, it's about 95 by 36. 6 is 40, 55, 95 by 55. So figure 100 by 50 is 50,000 square feet.
About the size of a basketball court, an NBA basketball court.
Actually, I just pulled it up on Google Maps and it looks to be close. Well, the current footprint is a little bit closer to 100 by 100, I believe.
Oh, so there you go. So this is the ramp structure. So obviously there's space on the outside to get to the fence.
Right.
Well, does the committee want to make a recommendation one way or the other to the council? Since we're advisory to the council.
I'll make a motion to recommend that we go forward to skate park.
Do we have a second on it? That's a recommendation to go forward, okay? Do we have a second on that recommendation?
I will second it, Connell.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I have some discussion. I would like to wait to see what a study comes up with, and if this is what the rest of the council wants, the committee wants, to see how much space it would take for a water park, and work on if they want that, work on the two together, and the water park might take some away from the skate park.
Spray park, not a water park, spray park.
Spray park, I'm sorry, spray park. So I'd like to find out, if the two can work hand in hand and find out what the square footage of the two are, and there might be some good give and take in the two.
Bob Vornlocker, have you reviewed this discussion? Are they using the same footprint or the same
Yes.
area?
Same footprint.
No, well, let me restate that. The same area in the park, or would they be?
Same footprint, same location. It's going as a direct replacement to the existing.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. If you did a spray park, would it be the same area or a
So
different?
what I'm saying is, as I said earlier, I don't even know if there's enough real estate in that park to install a spray park. So I won't commit to saying whether or not it could be next to the skate park or not, because I don't know where it could be based on my knowledge of the park, which is a pretty extensive knowledge of the park.
You have the gazebo or whatever you want to call
Within
it.
it, something that you could just squeeze in between
You have the
something else.
Taj Mahal, you have the football fields, and you have the skate park between there.
There's not a lot of real estate in Middlebush
No.
Park. They had
It's
a
not.
water park.
So
mean,
this
you
is
got
what,
a
so this
softball
is
field,
what
you
I'm
got big-
asking. I'm asking if we can take a look at what would encompass a spray park, how much space would be needed, and if the spray park and the skateboard park could work together at all. If a study was done first to see if that would work in some way, in any way. And then, once we hear that, make a decision on the skate park.
Arnie, I'm totally against the spray park. The maintenance and upkeep of a spray park for 3 months a year is an awful lot.
Not only that, we have one. It's at Colonial Park. It's brand new. Maybe it's not functional right now, but they just put a brand new one basically there. So, and I mean, that's close enough.
We're getting off I understand, Arnie, what your concern is here, but the motion is to go forward with the, let's just bite off one thing at a time here. The motion is to go forward with the skate park. So If there's all the discussion, I'd take of how, I guess we gotta do a roll call vote on this, I would imagine. Tara, would you take a roll call vote on that motion, please?
Can I ask, are we just voting on the skate park alone?
Yes, just the motion was to go forward with the skate park. That was the motion, correct?
So wait, Chris, can I just ask you, there was a motion and Arnie recommended a possible study of seeing if the two could work in tandem. Would that be an amendment to the motion?
I
Instead
don't-
of just voting on the
No,
standalone?
I'm not making an amendment. I'm just making a suggestion that it's just my way of saying no to the skateboard park until I'm asking if the committee would consider putting off a vote on the skateboard park until we know if there's any kind of possibility of having the two work together.
Oh, and I would just question, Artie, I see no nexus between the two. That you don't go to a skate park and then go pull off at a spray park. They don't connect, and there's no economy of scale in construction. One bid for one and one bid for the other. They're really not related to each other at all. If you're talking about finding additional real estate in the park, and you would cut down on the size of the skate park, that's not practical. The area is going to be dedicated to some purpose there, and to cut down the size of the skate park to be less than what it is now, it doesn't make sense based on the type of use involved. You have to have the space to put these things in, and that's why it's designed the way it is. This one already is on a smaller scale to begin with.
No, I understand, Bob, and I think that my original design was to have the spray park behind the playground, which is away from the skate park. I wasn't in any way saying that you would go from the skate park to the spray park. So I realize
So
they're two separate things.
here's the park, okay, and the area that you're talking about behind the playground is these are soccer fields. This little area here is insufficient in size. Look at the size of the skate park here. Okay, that there is really no place to put this. I mean, these small, transition areas between parking lot and soccer field. This is the edge of the soccer field. You couldn't put a fence here and fence it in, and the rest of it is soccer fields in the back. That's detention back here. So that's part of the stormwater management. All right, these are all soccer fields. You're to the edge of the park. You're into the synthetic turf fields, a parking lot. As my screen loads, and then a small area for in here for the natural recreation area, and that's it. I mean, other than clearing out the wooded area, which I don't think we want to do, which creates the buffer for the park from DeMott Lane, there's really not. You have this space here, I guess. But right along the roadway, so.
Which is a hill.
No, I get your point, Bob. I get your point that there's very little space, if any, for that. I guess my last point would be, what better place for a spray park than a detention pond? But I don't think you're going to go for
Clever.
You can guarantee that it's pervious, right? It'll drain. But that's the situation.
I was just trying to find some way to possibly fit it in there, but if you don't think there's any area for it, I mean, I thought it would have been nice, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Okay, Tara, would you poll the committee on this motion that's on the floor, please?
Sure. Hang on, let me just scroll to the top here. All right. Bob Huskis.
Against.
Okay, hang on one sec. Okay. Arnie Schmidt.
I am for it because you did have input from the people that use the skate park, and I think that was very important that that was done. So I would say yes.
Okay. Bill Connell.
Yes.
Bob LaCourte.
No.
Chris Williams.
Yes.
Dave Triggs.
Nay.
Dina Lux,
Nay.
okay. John Hurling,
Yes.
Melba Batten,
No.
okay, hang on, gotta scroll. Hang on here. Noah Batten, Michael Smith, Bob Puskis, Ted Chase. So that's all the voting members. 1, 2, 3. Am I missing anyone? No, right? That's all the voting members.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 yes.
I have 4 yes.
You have 4 yes, 5 no.
So the motion
Okay.
fails.
Motion fails.
Okay.
So in that case, I'm not sure if you have a certain procedure here, but in that case, if the council decides to accept our vote and proposal, then I would make a motion that we look into having a spray park there instead of having a skate park there.
You want to make that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second. Okay.
Okay, any discussion on that motion?
I would just like to say is, I've worked on building a lot of these water parks. They're complicated and there's a lot of maintenance in them, you know, but let's look what's happening in Colonial Park. I don't think it's a good idea, but.
Well, I don't think Colonial Park, they planned correctly.
I'd like to ask Mr. LaCourte what the cost of a spray park would be.
I have no idea. You have to see what it would, something, go to the county and ask them how much it would be.
It's about $1 million.
And it doesn't have to be as big as Colonial Park.
Well, that one was about $1 million.
I'm not talking about a massive one that they have at Colonial Park. It could be just a very small one.
Yes.
And I'm not saying, and going with Arnie's thing too, you can keep the skateboard there, and then you can maybe do a smaller one that's maybe 100 feet by 100 feet. But the water is there, so there isn't the problem with the maintenance. If it's done correctly, not what the county did, you're cycling the water. You're recycling the water. You just go and talk to the residents before you go and you spend the money. And if it's $1 million, I doubt it's going to be that much. You've already spent money for the skateboard park. See how much it would be. It doesn't have to be on a monster scale like Colonial Park.
How big is Colonial Park?
It's 6,500 square feet.
Oh, that's big.
Just so everybody knows, there's constant, every year you have to do maintenance on a water park.
Yeah.
We have one.
Exactly.
We have one. And it does in fact require maintenance, and in fact, it needed to be repaired again this year. And the equipment there is fairly new. The one that we have is about 4,800 square feet. So, it's adjacent to the pool.
And it's on a different side of different part of the town, and the top part of the town that we're talking about has a lot of homes in the area.
And is in close proximity to Colonial Park.
Exactly. Not only that, Middlebush Park is really an active recreational park. It's not like a destination more or less to bring your kids to, frolic around in water fountains. I mean, it's really, it's for football, soccer, softball, basketball. I mean, that's what it's utilized for.
Skate park.
Well, then what we
that's underutilized.
Well, are you
point.
when you're saying
we have a children's playground there. What's the children's playground there for?
Children's playground was put in initially so that when parents brought children to use the skate park and they had younger children, they could bring them to the tot lot while the older children were on the skate park, because those were the only things in Middle Bush Park.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, let's get back. All right, Tara, again, we got a motion on the floor. Would you turn around and poll the committee, please?
Yes. Okay, hold on.
I'd like to hear the
Wait,
motion again,
what's the
please.
motion again? Yeah. Can you read the motion again?
Arnie, you made the motion. You want to remake it or you want me to read it?
Go ahead and read it.
Okay, now this isn't my scribble because I was taking notes, but I basically have that you have made a motion to have the township review the desire, I'll say, for a spray park in the area where the skate park presently is.
To replace the skate park because this committee has said no to the skate park. However, if the council decides against what we have voted on, well, then that sort of makes my motion null and void.
Right. Okay. But your motion, just to be clear, is to see if the want is there to do the spray park, or is your motion to put a spray park there?
If there's no skate park, I'd say we want to investigate the idea of putting a spray park there, a small one, something like Naaman Williams, nothing like the county, nothing really large.
Okay, got it.
And just to say one other thing, wouldn't there, if we were to go forward with something that like this, wouldn't there be all kinds of public comment periods and all that for something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so you ready then? Everyone?
Yep.
All right, Bob Huskis.
Yes.
Okay, Arnie Schmidt,
Yes.
Bill Connell.
No.
Okay, Bob Laporte,
Yes.
Chris Williams,
No. The long-term cost of a skate park is ridiculous.
Dave Triggs.
So is the motion to replace the skateboard park with a mini water park, or to just look into that possibility?
He said to invest, if the spray park does not go, if the spray park's not replaced, it's to investigate placing a spray ground in that spot where the spray ground is. Not
If the skate park is a no-go,
right.
then we want to investigate if we can put a spray park in there, a small spray park in there.
I mean, I'm not endorsing a spray park, but if you want to investigate it, I mean, there's no harm in investigating, but I don't see the feasibility of putting that in there when you already have one at Colonial Park. So, I mean, I guess I'll say okay to investigating.
So that's yes.
Yes.
Okay. Dina Lux.
I'm gonna say yes, because I just want to clarify that from what I'm listening to, the Colonial Park spray park is not functioning properly, and has been giving the community a lot of problems, which means in effect it hasn't really been utilized. And it would be nice to see something possibly developed that would be better built and better constructed, that could be utilized.
Okay. John Hurling.
I think before we can do anything, we really have to have some more data to make an intelligent decision here. We really haven't, I don't know what data was put together to get the skate park originally in there, but it certainly needs to be something that we can base a decision like this on. I'm going to vote no at this point.
Okay. John Hurling, Melba Batten.
Oh, well, I'm for doing additional investigation and somehow the layout to me, coming from open spaces, looks a bit like a developer's dream. And it's what it's doing to the soil as well as the trees and everything else that bothers me a little bit. So I'm not against a park. I'm against it being more like a park than I think it's going to be, or the way the layout looks to me. Can we have more information? At the moment, I vote.
Tara, can I just comment that the last two people, Melba and John, both are asking for more information, and I think that's what my motion is for us to do more, to do an investigative, or, to look into this as to whether it's feasible to do it here.
Yes.
So that's what I'm asking for.
I would vote for additional investigation.
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
So Melba says yes.
It seems to me, to add one more thing in here, is that the water park is going to attract little kids and families. The skateboard park is going to attract older teenagers and maybe pre-teenage kids. So you're dealing with two different populations there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
Okay.
true.
I do have a question. How many areas do teens and older teens have to go and play?
I mean,
We got 2 football fields, 3 soccer fields, a softball field.
All which
basketball
require
courts.
organization and organized teams, and this is for individual activity.
Yeah, I guess with kids that have used the skate park, I'll just put
Okay,
in.
folks, let's get back online here. We got a motion on the floor and a vote being taken. We're back talking about the skate park. Let's finish one item and go back to the skate park if you like. Tara, what are if that is that everybody?
That's everyone. There's 6 yeses and 3 nos.
So the motion to Arnie's motion passes to investigate if the council, if I read this right, it's to investigate a spray park if the council does not take our recommendation not to build a skate park. If they go ahead and build a skate park, then our recommendation is null and void anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
that was a perfect example of why Robert's rule says when you vote yes or no or abstain. You don't make speeches. You had a discussion going on in the middle of a vote, so people who voted first did not have the same information who voted last. Just a Robert's rules nerd here.
Correct. Point taken.
The motion passes.
Motion passes.
Dr. Smith was going to say something.
Well, I'm just gonna say that I have teenagers that love using the skate park, so, and the new design, obviously it was shot down, but the new design is absolutely much more useful for folks that actually skate than the current design.
All righty, let's move on. We've spent enough time on all this. If you want to bring up, with the ball, our recommendation about the skate park is before the council. Council only can or cannot take may or may not take our recommendation. We're just advisory, so it's on the council's. It's up to the council now. Moving on, recognition of Girl Scout Gold Award, Tara.
We had a Girl Scout do a presentation for her Gold Award at the Trails Advisory Committee. Chuck Martin, who is on as an attendee, he's a very active member of our Trails Advisory Committee. He helped her. I worked closely with her.
Did she make
Vanessa
it?
Jones. I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Vanessa Jones, also member of the Trails Committee, worked closely with her, and the mayor was on for her presentation. I was very impressed by it. She's a sophomore in high school, and what she did was study the spotted lanternfly. She did a presentation about it, which I can share a little bit of it with you if you all just kind of want to flip through it. She took the New Jersey Department of Agriculture's flyer, and she added her QR code to it along with her information, so that when people see these flyers, which are now hanging in the kiosks, they're in the library, on our website, you know, you can use this QR code to get directly to her presentation, which was very informative. So I just brought it up because while I'm getting ready to share it here, she did such a great job and she did so much research. I thought it might be nice to give her some recognition at the council meeting, maybe, or here, wherever anyone thinks it's appropriate. Because she really did a great job. The Gold Award is the highest award you can get in Girl Scouts. So it's very similar to the Eagle Awards and everything we do. But just so you, and if you're interested in seeing her give the presentation, it's on FTTV, and it's also on our website under the agenda for the Trails Advisory Committee, the recording. So this is the Department of Ag's flyer, and then it tells you what to do if you see it. But so if you go to the bottom here and you do her QR code, it'll take you right to the presentation. And then the presentation she did, I won't go through the whole thing, it's hers, you know, but she went through, I'll just scroll quickly. Shows you everything about the life cycle, what to look for, what an adult looks like, you know, how did they get here, what they look to destroy, what you should do if you see it, and the effects they have. And then she linked to some checklists and some little slogans that she put together. So she really did a great job. She did a lot of hours to do it. And she's also did this presentation before the environmental clubs at all the Franklin Township schools, except for McAfee and one other, Sampson's, I can't remember which one, but there's another one she couldn't do it before, but she may get to it. And she's presented before other Girl Scout troops. So she's really done a lot of work. And I just thought it might be nice for you all to see it, and also see if, you know, you guys think it would be good to try and give her some recognition for it.
Tara, could you put the presentation back up? And I think it's the first page that shows the 4 stages of life of the lanternfly for a second.
Sure. Yeah, hold on, let me get back
The
to
only
it.
reason I think it was almost the first page.
By the way, last
Right
year,
there. So everyone should know that right now in our area, the third from the left, late nymph, is exactly what they look like right now.
Yeah.
And I know because I killed 2 of them on my deck last night. And so that's what you're looking for at this time right now, not the adult with the pretty wings, but it looks like a little red and black beetle, and they jump really fast going forward. So if you're going to kill it, be prepared for it to jump forward, and make sure you swap from that direction.
Right, true.
That's the one you want to get.
Yeah, it took me about 4 tries tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I had a problem last night, and it landed on me, and I still couldn't kill it.
Oh, yeah. They are in that, yes.
so it seems last year they were, we'll call it south of Hamilton Street. Like I didn't see any. This year they are definitely north of Hamilton Street. Do you actually keep track how they're moving through the town?
I don't keep track. I know that once a county is quarantined, as they call it, through the NJDA, it's basically just like your county has a high population of them, and then they try and tell you what you should do if you see them. I mean, there's a lot. I don't know if anyone could keep track.
Oh. And by the way, there's also a lot of baby deer this year. There was a lot of action this spring, I guess.
That's nothing new.
No, there's a lot.
What the committee's recommend? You know, I'd be apt to have Mr. Mayor, maybe you can enlighten me on this, but maybe a motion from the committee to have the council recognize this young lady for her endeavors.
Yeah, I plan when she gets her gold award, if someone, I asked her to let me know when she gets her gold award, to do a proclamation for her.
Perfect. Sounds like a good thing. Sounds like
She
a
did a
great thing.
fabulous
Are you
job.
in contact with her, Tara?
I am, yep.
Yeah. My only hope is that she's not 18 by the next time I run, or I'm in big
Oh.
trouble. She's pretty bright. She's pretty amazing.
She is. Yeah, she
Okay,
did a
good.
great job. Yeah, she really did a great job. So I'll keep track of it, and yeah, we can give her a recommendation. It's, difficult to get the gold award, as you can imagine. So,
Boy Scouts have a ceremony when they get theirs. If she has a ceremony, let me know.
okay, I will. Absolutely. She would love that.
She did a
Okay.
fabulous job.
Yep.
Great, good. Hats off to her. Maybe you can shoot her, can you contact with her that the open space committee is well impressed and congratulates her.
I will. Thank you.
Hey, Bob, one question for you. How much trouble is this bug for your crops?
As far as I know, it's not a problem.
Okay, what's mostly wine and fruit?
They're more of a tree feeder. They want to do their stuff on, with their cycle, so to speak, or their life cycle stuff on more on trees than anything else.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't heard it's been an issue with in any of the ag crops. Of course, but I don't know everything either. So next up, land stewardship roundtable discussion, Tara.
So a few months back, I had mentioned to everyone that Eric Gerling from the Middlesex County Parks Department had reached out and said that they were interested. I guess they host this land stewardships roundtable. And it's just a group of people that work in parks departments or for conservation groups. And they like to kind of have their meetings on site and talk about, stewardship matters. So he had reached out a little while back after we did the burn and asked if he could have the meeting there at either John Clyde Memorial Native Grassland Preserve or Negri. And when I presented this a while back, it was early on in the year, and the committee agreed that yes, it'd be okay, October 12th. So I just wanted to keep you all posted that I am communicating with him to finalize those details. They want to have a few people speak if possible, if anyone was interested. So I asked Chuck Martin and Chris Williams because they're very frequently at the grasslands and they've done a lot of volunteer work there and have a lot of expertise. So I thought they might be good to speak. I'll be there as well. And I will let you all know who is coming from there, representing what groups, and they're very excited. They're excited to learn about the burning process. They're excited to hear about everything, what works, what doesn't, what recommendations are,
No, great. Sounds like keep us updated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next item on the agenda is return to public meetings.
Yes. Okay. I just want to scroll. Do you want me to handle? Hold on. I gotta see. Bob, did you want to handle this, or do you want me to?
So maybe the mayor wants to handle this. Do I see him still here, or did he walk away from his table there?
I think he's not there.
Okay, so I can. There
Here he
is.
comes.
I stepped out for a second. What are we talking about?
A return to in-person meetings. I thought that you might be the most appropriate to talk about that.
So at the time that we were talking about or we were thinking strongly about going back to in-person meetings, we were averaging 0.4 confirmed infections a day. That's the 7-day average, went down to about 0.4. We voted on the 13th to go to all in-person meetings, and basically the decision was whatever council does, all the other committees will do. And that's the standing vote of council. However, the day after, if everyone remembers the fireworks started, and then right on cue, it started to rain. Well, we voted to go to in-person meetings, And the next day, we had 7 new infections. And then Ted, you're following it. It's something like 3 the next day, then 5. This weekend, one day we had 8. I can bring up the list. We now have a daily average greater than it was last year at this time. I'm very, the council has granted me their consideration on this because of my background. And I did advise to go to in-person meetings. I'm looking at what's going to happen the rest of this week, but the numbers are climbing.
It's up to 4 cases a day now.
Right. So we've basically increased by an order of magnitude in a week. Something called the rate of transmission or transmission rate, which is if a person is infected, how many people will they infect during the course of their disease? So if it's one person, then if you imagine, the disease just kind of keeps going on at the same pace. If it's more than one person, then it grows. And if it's less than one person, then it goes away. We had a transmission rate, and I use a back of the envelope method of calculating it. At the time we voted on it, our transmission rate was around 0.5. So for every 2 people infected, 1 other person would catch it. It's now so high that I don't know if my back of the envelope method is valid, but it's way over 2. And that's kind of runaway infection. So the standing vote is right now that we're going to in-person meetings at the next time you can. And by can means next time you're able to publicize it. But I am very strongly considering calling an emergency meeting of council to reverse ourselves on that. I realize that leaves any vote tonight that you might take kind of in the air.
What is committee's feeling on this? We file a council. I guess we have to file a council's lead, so we can vote on going back to public as long as in-person meetings, as long as the council does the same. Correct?
So, Mr. Mayor, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this, but on advice of the township attorney, what was recommended is that each individual committee or commission or board adopt an individual resolution agreeing to go along with the township council decision to return to in-person meetings at the next meeting held by that particular committee, board, or commission.
Right.
And that was a recommendation, not a requirement.
No, that was a motion that all public meetings would return to in-person, but it needs to be done by each individual committee.
I thought I heard you say that the council recommended that.
Yes,
The attorney did, Arnie.
The attorney
did, but
recommended it.
right. Okay, so what we need a motion from this committee to go back into in-person, either to go back in person or not go back in person.
Right, and can I just add in real quick that I prepared the resolution. It's the same resolution that I have had gave to Trails Advisory and Environmental Commission, and that I was planning to give to Ag Advisory at the next meeting.
Okay.
And I can share it if you'd like, but it's basically very easy template, and it says hold on, let me get it for you just so I can show you, but it's very simple. Let me just share the whole thing here. Hang on one sec, gotta find my stuff. Here we go. Okay. So basically says Open Space Advisory will return to in-person meetings at the next, in August, because that's when we can advertise it next. This is the line that's important here where it says, the Franklin Township Council adopted a resolution on July 13th, 2021 that calls for the return to in-person meetings as soon as boards, commissions, and committees can adopt an updated meeting schedule and that meeting schedule can be adequately advertised to the public. So then the next thing here is saying, we're meeting here tonight virtually at 7. I'm going to share with you the updated meeting schedule, which is our exact same meeting schedule. The only difference is instead of virtual, it's in the large conference room at the municipal building. And that I will be forwarding this to the clerk so that she can properly advertise the upcoming meetings for just the remainder of 2021. So that's that resolution. And then just to show you what would be attached to it is the meeting dates. And these again are the same that we've already agreed upon. The only difference is meeting in the large conference room of the township committee, of the township building. So just so you know what you're making a motion to sign.
So, Mr. Manager, neither of us are lawyers. Let's say they pass this and then council reverses. I mean, I assume it's rescinded.
So obviously the ultimate decision on all of these matters lies with council. So if council reverses the decision to hold in-person meetings, I believe that then this meeting would just have to be re-advertised as a virtual meeting, and there would be sufficient time to do so. There was not sufficient time to do so for this meeting. And that's why the attorney recommended that all of the committees do this.
Okay.
The thought crosses my mind. The committees can pass these resolutions, but the mayor or manager can instruct the town clerk to hold them and not advertise them right away, since typically these committees meet once a month.
Which I actually did. I talked to Anne Marie and I told her what's going on, and she's holding those that can be held.
Environmental Commission is scheduled to have its next meeting August 2nd, so it's a little more of a problem. Other ones are once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I anticipate making this decision Friday for a meeting on Tuesday, if it doesn't clear up.
Okay. So do we have a motion? Tara, did all the other committees you presented us to vote to go back in person?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to, I gotta say endorse, but to go along with that resolution, or a motion to pass that resolution?
I make a motion, we pass said resolution.
Do we have a second?
I second it. I second it.
All right, it's pretty important as far as, your health, people's health. Tara, I'd like to have a poll of committee on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Is there discussion first?
Okay, yep, we can have a discussion on a motion, sure.
So we made a first and made a second. What is the protocol for people coming to these meetings as to whether social distancing, masks, and things like that?
Masks are required.
Masks are required.
Masks are required per policy of the township whenever you're in a public building. That's correct.
Okay.
Places for public gathering inside municipal buildings, masks are required.
I just wanted that clear before people voted on it. Thank you.
In your case, Arnie, that's really good.
In my case, what?
It's really good.
I'll wear a full mask, okay, Bill?
I'm too pretty.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? If not, Tara, please call the committee.
Why not wait till September? Most people are on vacation in August. By September, we'll have more data to fall back on in terms of, whether this is really scaling back up. Like, why not just wait till September? Why August? We usually don't even meet in August.
Well, the council has last right anyway, so we can change it at any moment.
Correct.
And we can cancel the meeting at any time we want.
All right. Tara, poll the committee, Tara, please.
Sure. Gotta scroll again. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. Bob Puskis,
Yes. In
Barney
favor.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Bill Connell,
Yes.
Chris Williams,
Yes.
Dave Triggs,
Yes.
Dina Lux,
Yes.
John Hurling,
Yes.
Melba Batten,
No,
no, and that's it. So we have 8 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, motion carries. All righty. Mr. Mayor, good luck with your decisions, with the council's decisions on this. I see the numbers going up, but I'm hoping it's just short-lived. Any questions on the consultant's activity report? If not, we'll move on to updates for other committees. From Ag, we didn't meet this month, so we have no report. Anybody, other committees have any report to give in to us?
I have nothing, Bob.
All right, there's no other
Shade, hold on. Shade Tree Commission is looking to get something going for Memorial Park. Just to let people know that we may be finding some open space money if the township agrees. Okay.
All right, nice, good. All right, if there's no other from other committees, motion to open the meeting to the public again.
I make the motion, we open the meeting to the public.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the meeting is now open to the public.
Okay, hang on. Hi, Chuck, how are you?
Hi, Tara. I'm fine. I have no comments to make at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and Bill?
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry. I'm trying to listen to 2 meetings at the same time. Can you just clarify for me what that last vote, what that last motion was?
It was to go back to in-person meetings at the next meeting, Bill.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's all the public.
Motion to close the public comment session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Tara, is there any need to go into executive session?
I don't have anything. Bob,
I have
anything?
nothing now.
Okay. If there's no other business before the committee, motion to adjourn.
Bob, can I talk to you for a minute? This is Chris Williams, Bob Varnacker.
So close.
Actually, I have an emergency phone call that I've been very patiently waiting to make about someone who very close to me who's very ill. So I'd like to get off this meeting as soon as possible. If you can call me tomorrow, Chris,
I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
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 All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.